All right. Welcome everyone into season 2, episode 2 of the Hood Brothers podcast. Joined here as always by my brother Mike. Mike, how you doing?
Good. We made it. We didn't have to do it a year. 1 week. We're good.
Yeah, just 1 week this time. I did unfortunately it took me a while to upload it, just a lot of craziness last weekend, but episode one officially up. So that's always good. Also, birthday shout out to our mom last time, birthday shout out to our dad today. Very,
Yes.
very close together. Different years, but still the last same few days.
My birthday, Dad.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we hop right into it, especially as we currently have our Zoom limitations, so this might be another two-parter. Gonna be working on that, see if we can do anything about that. Otherwise, this might be a lot of either shorter or two-part episodes, but we'll do what we can. We'll dive right in with it. Um, Baseball playoffs going on now, but we're gonna kick off with NFL. So we'll start with the week 5 recap, then get into some week 6 picks. Then we into some playoffs in college football, maybe on the other side too. We'll kind of see how timing works here. But Mike, I think we'll probably start like we do as usual, even though chronologically things happen in a different order. We already, I think, discussed enough on the last episode about that horrendous Thursday night football game. We'll get to London after, but we'll start with the hometown team that we usually do sometimes. The Pats win 29-0 at home versus the Lions. They might be back. Again, I have a lot to say about the whole Mac Jones Bailey Zappi situation, but I guess we could just start with the overall total ass kicking. The defensive touchdown was awesome. A lot of field goals after that. So yeah, lots to be impressed with. I think in this game, even though it was the Lions, I think getting that shutout too meant a little something extra.
Yeah, because for those who don't know, I mean, Sean and I have a little side bet. I'm pretty down on the Pats this year going in. So if it's 7 or 10 or
Mm-hmm.
lower, he owes me $20. If it's 10 or 7 or higher, I owe him $20. But
Eight or nine,
honestly, if you
nine's a
see
push.
me, I'm wearing red right now. If the
Okay,
Pats wore this every week, I think we'd be at least a 10-7 team. You can
those
just
should
tell,
be very good.
like,
Like it's time.
the defense was a little more frisky, I feel like, on the red. I know, again, but we're playing the Lions. But hey, they were one of the best offenses in the league going into the day. We shut them out.
That's true. That is
I
very true.
like, yes, like Zappy didn't like only threw for like 200 yards or anything like that. But that one pick wasn't his fault. That was Aguilar. The run,
Yeah.
we knew the Lions had a weak run team. We exploited that. That was a good game plan. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, that was a good defense, and I put it all to look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, okay, that we can start with that topic. Those should just be their uniforms. I mean, everyone does it. It's time. It's time
Yeah.
to go back to, the whole the Brady era is done. Those uniforms we retired them, but we basically barely modified them. They look so much better. The logo's better. The jerseys are better. They should just go back to those full time next year. Just please do the right thing. They won't, but they should. I think those being full time jerseys would be awesome. Even the whites with the red letters, those look cool
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It was really cool watching them in those uniforms. But yeah, like you mentioned, it was the defense looked awesome. Again, obviously allowing a shutout, and then the Duggar touchdown, some field goals on top of that. But I don't know, just something with me and they do have this little stretch coming up where they can take advantage. I think no matter really who is at quarterback. So yeah, I think they're gonna have to get up pretty big because I know the end of their schedule is pretty tough. So um, I'm almost how things have started. I'd almost accept the push with our little side bet if they can get the 8-9 range. But yeah, the one thing I did want to kind of get into here with them is the whole. I think I might have said this to you recently, Mike. Is we're not that far removed from and I don't know whether it was just because of the quarterback bias or whatever, but for people, despite the insane year Jamar Chase had, seriously considering or for one time the betting odds were in Mac Jones's favor. That's how good he was last year, and then now we're 3 games into him playing this year, and people are just done with him. I think there's a big middle ground where he really lies right now, and people that are just willing to be like hand the keys to Bailey Zappi after 2 games where he went 1-1 and again, he's good, but like I'm not gonna here to trash the guy, but I also don't think it's all right. Let's just get rid of Mac Jones now. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction.
Yeah, and I think as we can see that Jones is trying to get back. I mean, granted, he doesn't want to lose his job, but
Mm-hmm.
even they said if he does play this upcoming Sunday, he's going to be limited. I like the fact that it's like, okay, just take your time, Mac. Let's see what we have.
No, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
I have to say, like, I mean, yes, you're right. Last year was like last year, but we do have to keep in mind what he was doing in that year two jump, and he, if anything, regressed. I had higher expectations. I think I said the Pats were going to stink, but I expected Mac to like end up in that like 12 to
Okay.
15 range of
But
quarterbacks going
but
into
how
the
many games has it been?
3. But I mean,
I mean, if he continues that the rest of the year, then I see what you're saying. But it's like it's been 3 games. He actually looked. I mean, I know he threw the picks, but he looked good in the Baltimore game. They're moving the ball, down the fields a little bit there. So
yeah, some pretty bad mistakes though. On the other hand, and he was
no,
just
I agree.
yeah, it was pretty bad in that Miami game, and then even Pittsburgh was a struggle. And we see how they might be the worst team in the league. So
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
I don't know. Yeah, and I can't remember what athlete it was or even for what sport, but it's like, I mean, it's just further evidence of like we just throw young guys out a little too early. It's just like, I mean, it's not a best example because he obviously got hurt, but I mean, look at how good Tua looked after 3 games this year. He's um, year ahead of Mac, right? So it's like again, maybe it just took a little bit longer. I know we obviously added Tyreek Hill and Waddle developed and everything like that, but it's just, and again, like I said, I'm not saying he deserves, like 2 full more seasons after this to like truly see what he is, but it's like, yeah, and if Zappy goes on a tear, I mean, yeah, maybe I ride the hot hand, but it's just like now I just think it's a little bit. I just think it was too high last year and it's too low this year. I think overall he's been good, actually. He's been good, pretty good for a rookie, maybe regressing a little this year, but I'd like to see him in more than just a 3-game sample size this year.
Yeah, so I just want to like take your time, Mac. Let's see what we have from both ends, and, and just keep the competition open for the rest of the year. I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm saying hand the keys over, it gets done, but you got to think that keep the competition alive.
It depends on, like I said, how many games he plays and how good he looks before Matt gets back. But I just think it's a little premature. I think people, the name's fun, all that stuff there, but I think that it's just, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I think it's like it's happening simultaneously. Too quickly downgrading Mac, too quickly anointing Bailey Zappi there. I think it's just a little,
Yeah,
there's a big swing both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, Pats get the win. Yeah, another Aguilar moment. I feel like one of those memes can be posted every week between fumbling or basically leading to an interception himself. So that was frustrating to watch. Both that moment and the interception return for touchdown was like a kickback in the hotel pool and hot tub for that. So that was fun to kind of watch down there. But yeah, Pats got the win, 2-3 now. Going to Cleveland this week, trying to get back to 500. We'll do more of a quick, or we'll do more of a rundown when we get to week 6 picks here with Mike. But anything more from this game or for the Pats in general?
No, second half was a little boring. I feel like I was mainly watching the laptop with Red Zone.
Yeah, the move to Red Zone kind of happened after that. Yeah, but yeah, not much to say for the Lions either. I mean, we have a lot of games to cover here too, so we won't spend too much time on that. We'll see obviously how things go this week. But yeah, now we'll kind of rewind quickly back to London here for that UK game where, luckily I said I got up and didn't have much to do that morning, so I got to catch a lot of this game. You're kind of in the solo slot there, and I think for a while I was like, all right, Packers are clearly, they're not dominating, but they're in control of this game. They're going to win, and then out of nowhere come the Giants. So it was like Danny Dimes, but I mean, it's been the feet that's been working for him. Saquon too got hurt for a little, but he came back at a great game. They've been running that wildcat, and Giants able to get a big win against the Packers. And I see here, Mike, the question you posed is: are the Giants good or the Packers suck? I think it's mostly the latter, but the Giants have also looked impressive this year. Again, I know the whole thing, your record is what you say you are. I don't think they're quite 4-1 good, but they're obviously a lot better than I and most people thought they'd be coming into the year.
Yeah, I mean, Dayball's definitely done a great job with them. Kind of like revitalized. Of course, Barkley being back to his old ways definitely helps. I guess not trying to jump ahead, but a good measuring stick will be this week. I know they play Baltimore, so that will be a good test to figure out if they're good or just a frisky team that could beat any team. And we're going back to the Packers struggles again. I was kind of more shocked. I'm like, I feel like the Packers, if they get ahead, they usually kind of just like squash the bug a little bit and keep the lead. But Ooh, sorry, Dansby.
I just saw that too. Yeah, we actually have a great game going on here. I can't wait till we get to baseball because we have a real pitchers duel going on here in Atlanta after the long delay. So yeah, Dan's be a nice over the shoulder catch there to end the top of the sixth.
Yeah, but anyway,
Going
so
back,
it's
going back
just
to
tough to see the
Michael's game.
Packers. Like, I think a lot of this week just some more bad coaching. Like even the good ones, like LaFleur. I don't know why they just abandoned the run game because I feel like Giants tied up the game and they just went 3 passes, 3 and out. Like your 2 big playmakers on offense are Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Like even even like we're like a screen pass or something, or just try to like change things up a little bit. So I don't know. That's gonna be a long flight back to the States. The boys in green.
Yeah. I think it just I have like no. Even when they beat the Pats last week, it's like this team is not good. Like I mean, I've eaten my words several times on this. I fully expect Aaron Rodgers to go like a mid-year tear and for them to somehow get like the 2 seed or something in the NFC. But they just really don't look good. It looks different than years past. Obviously, Devontae Adams, who we'll get to later on, hurts them. But I think the thing that surprised me most, and again, like I said, the Giants were running all over the place, and it's an impressive comeback for them there. But the thing that really surprised me the most is towards the end of the game, and something I'm sure no one has seen. Aaron Rodgers getting batted on 2 straight passes on 3rd and 4th down, pretty much to end the game. I know they ended up having that last second, play there, but I've never seen something like that. It might be because he's locked in on the same guys here, Lazard and Randall Cobb, but the Giants defense was reading that all day. They again, the last 2 real passes that Rodgers had to be able to convert to try to tie that game. It's just something you've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. Again, I couldn't really catch it. Students and errands. So
yeah. Well, that's right. I caught this game, and then I missed some later on with the wedding we had last Sunday. So we'll kind of trade off a bit. But yeah, that's kind of how that one ended. 2 batted passes by the Giants defense to end the Packers' last real legitimate drive before they took that on purpose safety, which was fun. When they were up in their own end zone.
I did see. I mean, you can see them anywhere. A fake betting, or not fake, a real betting slip. Someone did the exact score of the game to be 27-20 Giants over Packers. That was like plus like 1,000 odds, and he was just like, "You got to be kidding me."
That one does hurt. But yeah, so again, Giants 4-1. The whole NFC East, besides Washington, who we'll also get to later on. Something that I think no one would have seen coming into the year, 4-1 or 5-0. 4-1 better, I should say, between those 3 teams. I think people might have saw the Eagles being good, but Dallas, if you were to say without Dak and then just the Giants overall being that good, I don't think a lot of people would have saw that coming. So, first win from the Giants. Packers have a lot to figure out there. But all right, now getting into the 1:00 window here. I'm going to be reading a lot of Mike's notes here that he put down here. Brandon Staley has brain worms. I think there were some questionable 4th down calls. Is that what you're referring to here?
Yes. So as you know, it was 30-28. Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb both had great games. It was definitely led by the running backs. The Browns were leading a comeback until Brissett threw a brutal pick to Cooper, who was having a good day. I don't understand why you lock in on him, but regardless, the Chargers trying to bleed clock. They got to a point where it was 1:14 left at their own 46 on a 4th and 2. The Browns have no timeouts. You punt the ball. Make Jacoby Brissett, especially at the 46. Like you can even like on a bad punt, like it's pretty hard to get a touchback when it's that. You can even just punt it towards the side. Like NFL punters can at least get it within.
There's options. You
can at least get it within the 15. So then you're making Jacoby Brissett with no timeouts and basically a minute because you're going to bleed a couple seconds on the punt and a couple seconds you need to save the field goal. Just get downfield. But he goes for it.
Yeah.
And say the analytics said it was like 0.2% more, but also like you got to use common sense in analytics. And the play call they did was terrible. It was basically like a 3, like in the shotgun, like 2-step drop for Herbert, and he just chucked it to Mike Williams. It wasn't even done running the route, and it just like hit his feet. I know Mike Williams was again eating up a lot too, but just punt the ball. He got insanely lucky. Cade York missed a field goal. They only got like 1 first down of exactly 10 yards, then went 3 plays out. So Cade York was like a 54-yarder, but again, they like I said, they did nothing and had a 54-yard field goal to a chance in the game. Chargers survived, but man, Staley, come on.
Yeah, like you said, He cost them some games last year. He cost them almost the playoffs last year. If you, depending on what you believe in that whole Raiders Chargers tie scenario week 18 last year, but yeah, it seems like they were able to escape this time, but it kind of is what costs him a lot of these games. And even if a lot of his play calls are good, it's just the time management, the fourth down situations that it seems to be real ride or die. You have a lot that could be happening there. So yeah, interesting call that didn't come back to bite the Chargers too much, but uh, they're able to hold on there against Cleveland. Um, but yeah, anything else on that one?
No.
All right, cool. Moving on to Seahawks Saints, a battle of one current backup, one longtime backup who did not write back, as he said to the haters that wrote him off. Geno Smith again, the Saints, um, able to kind of do some work there, but Geno Smith looked really, like you said, he's looking good. He looks good again. You're probably not going to go too crazy here with him, but I don't know. Geno's looked impressive so far this year, which is something I did not think I would say.
I don't know. I'm kind of buying into it. Like, if you look at
me too. I love Geno in college.
Some of these throws, he's rolling out to his left and throwing dimes. He's finding locking in tight windows for deep touchdowns. Like, the offense just seems a lot happier with this quarterback. Granted, they did lose. That was the Taysom Hill show. He had 4 TDs. He throwing one, running for some. Like, he was pretty. He won the game for the Saints. And again, like, the Seahawks aren't a complete team, but it's just like, hey, if they're gonna putting up 30 points, win or loss, and Geno's going that, like, that was a fun game to watch. I was fully enjoying Saints Seahawks, and I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Geno Smith, for some
exactly. Yeah. I mean, again, they're 2 and it's weird because they're 2-3, and then like
so the Broncos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the Broncos almost feel like they should be worse, and it's like the Seahawks. It's like they almost had that one. Like it's like there are like losses that almost should be wins, and then the Broncos have wins that should be losses. Like they should be at least 1-4, maybe even 5 if you think about it with the Broncos.
Yeah, they should have beat the Texans, and what was their other win? The 49ers. I think the 49ers.
Yeah, like that.
I think the 49ers and Colts kind of like even off. Like they should have beat the Colts that time. Like if they just kicked the field goal and Russ didn't throw a pick, like the Colts weren't scoring it. No one scored a touchdown. Like no one was going to score a touchdown in that game.
This is true. Yeah. But yeah, Geno Smith looking good. Like I said, something just dinged big time.
Oh yeah, it's my text. It's
almost died live on the podcast here. My heart had to skip the beat.
Well, it might happen again. It was like a group chat of 12. So.
Oh my god, at least some people prepared for it. Anyone mute that thing?
Yeah, I'll figure it out. You'll keep going.
Like even still get the notifications, but they're just muted.
I mute some group chats, but this is a group chat that doesn't usually get used too much. So
yeah. By the way, heads up, Ronnie Acuna did get hit my wrist here, so he's trying to battle through here. Yeah, so we can move on now. Like I said, Geno Smith entertaining. Yeah, big fan of him back in West Virginia. Just took him a little while to hit his stride here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if the Seahawks end up bad enough. Maybe he'll make them good enough so that they can't draft the first round quarterback this year. But we'll obviously see on that one. AFC East matchup now. Dolphins Jets. I did pick the Dolphins and actually bet them. Also, the groom was a Dolphins fan, so that was part of my rationale there. On top of just actually also the spready Bridgewater too, were two of my big things. So I have to defend myself on that because he obviously got hurt early. Went to the third, Skylar Thompson, who will be starting this week in Peters. But the Jets, man, above 500, 3-2. Zach Wilson gets the win at home there, and Dolphins again. That 3-0 start. Now they've lost 2 straight against some injuries at quarterback. Obviously, a big part of that, but I think a lot of that for them is going to depend on how quickly Tua can come back, if they can turn this back around to it. But the Jets also sitting at 3-2 here, as the Pats are still in the basement in the AFC East.
Yeah, I'm a little confused why Bridgewater can't play, because I thought the whole reason he couldn't come back in on Sunday was because of the Tua rule. He looked woozy, even though he passed all the concussion protocol. So I thought that means he'd be good for this week, but they announced Skylar was going to start. But
yeah.
Anyways,
they're just completely overcorrecting.
Yeah. And rightfully,
Yeah.
I'd rather them do that than do what happened. What happened on
Yes.
Thursday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know we can say I was third string quarterback, but the Jets look good. Their defense looks pretty well. Looks like they're
Mm-hmm.
playing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Both Hall and Carter looked pretty amazing on the backfield. Zach Wilson's looking okay in year two. So I mean, they're all making the playoffs, but at least there's some excitement in the Meadowlands on the Jets side, not just the
Mm-hmm.
Giants. So
Yeah.
yeah, the
Absolutely.
most you can
So,
say about the Jets since like 2015. So
and what are you forgetting the Mike White era?
that was one game.
What was that? I'm sorry.
That was like a game. I meant like a full like team season.
Oh, it mattered. No. Um, yeah, otherwise you go back to the back-to-back franchise years in the around the 2009, 2010.
Well, even the
Um,
Fitzpatrick's team was pretty good in 15. They ended up choking we last week of the year. But
right. That's true. Yeah. Um, yeah. All right. So yeah, the Jets win that one. A game that I think it was the. I almost wish I wasn't too coward to make a pick. It would have been against you, Mike, but I should have liked this game. Was the Titans Commanders here, because I don't know. I'm convinced the Titans are destined to win that division. I think they're better than every team over there. So, and I'm like, especially because they started out slow. If they were like 4-0, I probably would have been like, yeah, they'll lose to Washington. But since they started out slow, I was like, no, they have to win this game. So,
I was on the
um,
Commanders solely
they
for the
look
Brian Robinson like vibes game.
true. Did have a cold intro there, but
They were at the 1 yard
yeah, that
line.
was really cool.
They should have won the game.
It's true, yeah.
Carson Wentz like, threw it out of bounds. Should have got picked off and then got picked off. Like, come on.
Yeah, the Carson Wentz roller coaster seems like it,
Hey,
again. It's actually insane thinking he almost won an MVP.
he's literally like Costanza without office. He's dropping dimes to DME Brown. He's throwing picks. I don't know what the heck's going on with this guy. And then Ron
Exactly.
Rivera's
Yeah.
saying it's the problem. That was a weird quote.
Oh yeah. What's the difference between you and the other NFC East teams being successful at quarterback? So I don't know. I think if you listen more, there's maybe some nuance there, but yeah, really, it seems like he's throwing the QB under the bus there. It's just weird because again, you think about someone like Matt Ryan, who won MVP now. It's like, okay, well, he's getting old. Like Carson Wentz is still like in his 20s, so it's like I don't know what's the matter with you, man. But yeah, Titans able to squeak one out against Washington there. So again, we have 5-0, 4-1, 4-1, and now 1-4 in the NFC Beast, as we're calling it. At least three teams are kind of holding their ground there, which kind of leads you. I'm going to skip around here to Mike, just think this is a good transition. Going back to the NFC East, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah, their defense. That's just their defense. They just absolutely carved up a depleted Rams offensive line, and like Cooper Rush looked awful in the game, and they didn't even.
See, this is one that I missed, but I was actually at the wedding. I met one of the bridesmaids' boyfriends who was a Cowboys fan, so I was talking to him about it. I just saw the score, so I didn't see much, but that's interesting. So Rush didn't look good at all.
They had a bad game. They had a defensive touchdown. Tony Pollard broke off like a 55-yard touchdown, and the rest was kind of just a lot of field goals and stuff like that. So it was a defensive dominated game. Of course, Kupp got his one massive touchdown. That was kind of really the only spark on the Rams side. So yeah, it was just the defense is legitimate, and that makes you think that even once they get Dak back, like a game like that was nice for Cooper Rush fans. I know it might be ×2 when playing Philly next week on Sunday night, where he actually might get his first loss, and everyone's like, "Okay, Dak, come back!" Like thank you very much for your 4-1, Cooper Rush. It's Dak time.
Okay. Yeah, can I just say something?
What?
As much as I was giving my piece about the whole Mac Jones Bailey Zappi thing, that is much more legitimate than, in my opinion, to benching Dak Prescott for Cooper. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that think that, but there's some. And I just come on, like, let's not be ridiculous here. Like I said, I my stance on the whole Mac Jones thing, that makes way more sense than Cooper Rush Dak Prescott. It's like this little flash in the pan. He's having this little moment here. Defense is kind of carrying him, like I said. It seems like in this game. So, yeah, when Dak's ready to go, he'll be back.
Yeah, I guess.
Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that could be a passing the torch game.
Mm-hmm.
Best defensive player in football, Aaron Donald to Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is really good.
A nice October Week 5 passing the torch game, but I'm going to say it here. That was it.
Ignoring the injured T.J. Watt too.
Yeah. I don't know. Parsons is good. No disrespect.
Yeah, he's going to shoot up. I expect to be really high in the NFL 100 next year.
What was the Reggie Miller line? No pun intended, Steph Curry. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
TJ
Watt. TJ Watt. But yeah, it's obviously a depressing one for the Cowboys. The Rams also they got the Super Bowl win hangover, which you don't see as much as the Super Bowl loss hangover.
But, yeah, this is just the offensive line. I mean, losing Woodward to retirement, I think lost a couple of pieces. And
the real question is,
what
comes back.
Yeah, because Allen Robinson isn't really cutting it as wide receiver too.
It seems like that's where he'll end up, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, some other notes here. Yeah, 49ers took care of the Panthers. I think that was like I went 1-on-1 on Sunday. That was the one I was like, there's no way they don't cover this game.
Yeah, that was
stay away.
It was when I was like looking back, it's like I was so confident in that. I was a little bit on this, and you just did the same exact thing. Like you should be like, I like this 2 times more than that, so I should do 2 times more. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, the Niners won the game, but they also killed Matt Rule. End of his career in Carolina. So
he's just going to be wiping his tears with this $40 million.
I know, yeah, and he'll get a college job soon. If it's not Nebraska, it'll be somewhere else that opens up. Wisconsin. Yeah. But something I do want to say after that, you know what I'm pulling for? The interim head coach, Steve Wilkes. I think he got a bad job in Arizona. He had 1 year where they had no talent on that team. It was like the year right before they got Kyler, I'm pretty sure. So they got the number 1 pick. So he got kind of a raw deal down there. So I hope he can do some things. I doubt they'll be good enough for them to retain him, but I'm hoping for the best because he got kind of screwed.
Yeah,
in Arizona.
Yeah,
that's my one note there.
Because I mean, you can just go to that game. That coach isn't too much better. I mean, granted, they did cover, and they were playing the only undefeated team, but like Arizona, it's just. I feel like they shut down the offense to 20 points. And I feel like that's a game that that offense needs to score 20 as well. I know they did miss a field goal at the end because
they seem like a like beat everyone that they probably should and then can lose close to any team, but they can't quite beat any team or every team.
I wonder if they can reverse the script this year only because of D-Hop coming back. Like, is that just the missing piece? And they can good post October, like instead of being like the September best team, like they.
Well, that's what I saw. It's going to impact Kyler Murray more. Hopkins coming back or the new COD coming out. That's really
I think that's getting too written into the ground that it might actually reverse this year.
That it's almost become too amazing. All right, I cannot let this narrative continue. Exactly. All right. I think before we move on, just a few other notes here. I think we had Jaguars sucked. Texans won that game 13-6.
Yeah, the Jagganoff bubble popped pretty quickly on my end. I was like, they're going to win the division with 7 wins, but nah.
Yeah.
They're lucky to get 5.
Falcons didn't lose by as much, I think, as people thought, despite missing Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts. So
they almost
held on there. I know there was.
They almost 28-3 them because they got a touchdown. Did a smart thing going for 2. Got it. So they're only down 6 and they got a third down stop and they would have had the ball with like 4 minutes to take the lead. But Grady Jarrett sacked Brady and Brady gets the call. He got a rough on the passer and that they were able to stop the clock in the game.
Weak, but somehow not the weakest call of the weekend. Which is coming up in a couple of games here. But yeah, I told you, watch out for the Falcons. Get some talent there. I went too far last podcast, I admit, but I think they could be a good bad team. Put it that way.
Oh, well, that San Fran will be a good test.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, 2-0 here. But yeah, Ravens Bengals again. I was very deep in the wedding / I think I got back to the after party kind of right for the end of that. But basically, I think we could just sum that up with Justin Tucker goat. does his thing. So
Yeah, and I think what I hear is that the Bengals just like making football very hard for themselves.
what's that?
I think I just heard like that's the Vikings. I'm gonna say the Bengals. Like
They used to think it's
the Bengals just make it very hard for themselves. I feel like they just
yeah.
like try really hard
Mhm.
to just only like do simple tasks. I don't know. I feel like there was like passing on a lot of like I think they ended up like scoring a touchdown on like 4th and goal for the one, but
Mhm.
like that was their 4th try, like type of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Mhm.
didn't really watch that game at all. Speaking of Vikings, I
Yeah.
did forget that one. They beat the Bears. Bears had a frisky
Oh
comeback.
yeah, kind of got lost in there.
Had a
Yeah.
frisky comeback until literally some kind of Vikings took the ball out of receiver's hands. He basically like Danny Bateman's like twisted it out, and that's how the game ended. So
Yeah.
yeah, 4-1 Vikings.
All right, and then finally Monday night, another one I didn't catch too much of. But yeah, I require a lot of recovery from if I'm like away for a couple nights or away, I'm like I just need to chill, and just
Mm-hmm.
watch random movies all night. So I didn't catch a lot of this one. But yeah, I mean, Chiefs, even if they have a tough game, it's just like they're always gonna pull these victories out. Um, Again, probably the most controversial of the past was the Chris Jones and Derek Carr. That looked very weak. Um, but yeah, Chiefs able to pull out. Again, Kelsey's just a beast too. And then obviously Devontae Adams end of the game was crazy. I think he's getting charged with something. So some like
Assault.
an assault charge, which on one hand I want to think is very weak, but also if that guy can get a bag,
Yeah,
I kind of for
I,
that
I
reason,
yeah.
I would almost get money and be like, yeah, that's the only reason I did this. Like I don't actually care. I just want to get
I
money.
don't know. I think it was like he can get like a massive fine or 60 days of jail. But the guy's like, I don't want him to go to jail. I just want
Well,
him.
yeah, that's it. Is it just a fine? Does this guy benefit at all? Like that's the only thing.
No, it's a
Or is he
fine
just
and or that. So like
okay?
I feel like any common judge would be like, okay, just pay him like a decent amount of money.
Uh-huh.
But going back to the
All
game,
right.
because I did catch the second half. Again, like, I was
Mm-hmm.
following my phone. I'm like, it's 17-0, but like I still think the Chiefs can like win by a touchdown, and they were up by a touchdown. But
Yeah.
again, just McDaniels, man, what are you doing? Tying the game with 4 minutes left, but not really tying it because you go for two. Even if you get it,
All that whole
still
thing.
4 minutes
Yeah.
left, and Mahomes could easily get a touchdown. Like, even though like you can't look back hindsight 2020 by saying, oh, they stopped them. I feel like they would have handled that drive a lot differently, been more aggressive, got
That's
in field
true.
goal range. So it was a
Mm-hmm.
stupid play. And then even when they got the ball back, they just run in each
Mm-hmm.
other on 4th and 1. call the game end.
Yeah.
Did you see that? So again, just some more poor coaching there, and a very sad fantasy outcome. I have Adam and Kelsey in one league, and I still lost.
I needed I had one league where I needed like 10 points out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Darren Waller, and the Darren Waller got hurt and Clyde Edwards-Helaire got 5 points. So
Yeah,
I feel your pain.
I was playing Foley. He was the 0-4 team, but I'm like, his team's not that bad. Like, he was due for it. Like, he has like Wentz as his quarterback. So he had Dak, and of course, like, he like kind of went off.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he had Jacob, so I was doing a lot of canceling out. So yeah, that was just like
Yeah.
a tough one. Like,
All right. Enough about fantasy. We got. Do you think we can do these picks in 5 minutes, or should we still?
I think we should just throw it to the other side. I mean, I feel like our MLB will be like 20.
There's a lot to talk about, but I'm like thinking about it. There were four series now versus 16 NFL games.
Yeah, I think the quickly firing through some
stuff.
picks on the second half and going over MLB and a little bit of college will be good.
All right, cool.
All right.
Let's do it. We'll catch it on the other side.
So yeah, that was the week 5 recap, and we'll catch you on the other side for part 2.